Okay. Thank you for your patience. We had a special public meeting at 4:30 that took us right till a little after 7, and now we're into a planning public meeting for two planning requests. And I always like to start off with the land acknowledgement. In the spirit of reconciliation, we acknowledge that the land upon which we gather is unceded Mi'kmaq territory, Epigwit, Prince Edward Island. Mi'kma'ki is covered by the historic treaties of peace and friendship. We pay our respects to the indigenous Mi'kma'ki people who have occupied this island for over 12,000 years, past, present, and future. Are there any declarations of conflict of interest? Councillor Drawn?
No, I don't, thank you.
Okay. Deputy Mayor?
No conflicts for me, Your Worship.
Okay. And Deputy Mayor, Councillor McCabe, she's just going to use the script that's here for this meeting.
Yep, we already discussed that earlier, Director Mike and I. So, yep, that's perfect. Thank you.
So the approval of the agenda, I need someone to move it. Two items, moved by Councillor Bernard. About the agenda?
Councillor Duran's not, but his son-in-law owns this property. Is that not a conflict?
Okay.
Your 3 Oakland Drive?
No, on Stanmall Drive.
Councillor Duran?
Go ahead.
Councillor McKinnon has suggested that you're in conflict of interest because, what is it, Councillor McKinnon?
That your son-in-law owns the property on Stanmall Drive.
Is that correct?
Is this the one?
Hidden Valley.
I'll have to check on it. Just one sec.
Yeah. So that's number 6, Stanmore Drive.
6 Stanwell?
Yeah, it's at the end of Longview Drive. Will Safaris is here.
Okay, I would be in a conflict. He does own that.
Okay. So you have to
Good.
declare a conflict. That's not first on the agenda. On the agenda is rezoning 3 Oakland Drive, but you're declaring conflict of interest for number.
Yeah, when it comes up, yeah.
Okay. So approval of agenda?
I want to clarify on the agenda here where it's 3 Oakland Drive, where it talks about future land use map, the city of Charlotte on official plan from low density to residential to industrial. I believe that's supposed to stay institutional.
It's what's that?
I believe it's supposed to say institutional, not industrial.
Is that correct, Laurel?
Yes, Your Worship, that's correct. It should be institutional. It's a misprint.
I just want to clarify that for the record.
I have Appendix G, Appendix A, and where does it say?
Appendix A, Your Worship.
So that should be density from low density residential to institutional.
Correct.
Good. Duly noted. Any other changes? Okay. Move for the agenda. Councillor Bernard, second by Councillor Ramsey. All in favor? Councillor Drawn,
In favor?
Deputy Mayor?
In favor.
Okay. And there was a email that Melissa gave to me. Did you also receive it from David Gundrum? Is it an email from Aletha Smith? Correct? Did all of you receive that? If not, it's here for public record.
There's 2 of them. There's one.
Okay, and there's another one. I have another one here from Gordy McCarville, 15 Thorndale Avenue. Do you have that? So there should be 2. Good. Just want to make sure. Okay. So tonight's public meeting is to hear comments, questions, or concerns on the following applications. Applications 1 and 2, rezone in 3 Oakland Drive, PIN number 192245. Staff, Laurel Palmer, Planner 3. Presenter, Lorna Hughes, Vice President of Corporate Services, Holland College. John Barrett, Director of Facilities, Holland College. Rezoning, Stanmore Drive, PIN number 1047562. Again, staff, Laurel Palmer, Planner 3, and the applicant or presenter, and I think Will is here, Will Safaris, Falcon Properties. So we're back in person meetings, but we still have the option to participate by Microsoft Teams. And do we have anyone coming in by Microsoft Teams? No. Okay. And this meeting is live streamed on YouTube, and a recording of this meeting can be accessed after the meeting. The video link, if you want to see it on YouTube, it's www.charlottetown.ca/video. And we have all members of council present, and planning board members, I don't see any. Resident members of the public present, we don't have them, and we don't have anyone joining here. So now I'm going to turn it over to Councilor McKay, page 3, and you can take it over.
So I'm just going to kind of go over a little brief overview for the process this evening. There will be a brief presentation by the staff going over the overview of the application. And at that point, if the applicants want to chime in to provide further information. After the presentation, general public who are here this evening will be given an opportunity to speak. You are given 5 minutes to which provide your comments or ask any clarifying questions you might have. At that point, council members, if there are any clarifying questions at that time, you will have an opportunity to ask. It's really important that we remember that we're here to listen and not to give our own opinions or any insight on our thoughts on any of these projects, as they have to remain neutral until this process is complete. With that, I'd like to offer our thanks to everyone that did take the time to come out this evening and to join us and who will be able to give us some information. You have until, is it tomorrow at noon, for any written submissions to be turned into the planning department. So if you haven't had the opportunity to do that, you can always submit your thoughts to planning@charlottetown.ca before tomorrow at noon. With that, I'll turn it over to you, Your
And
Worship.
Madam Chair, do we accept late submissions?
I think we'd like to have them in because that's the process, but I'll let Laurel answer that question.
Just to cover that base.
Yes, Your Worship, we're accepting submissions until, I believe, noon tomorrow, but if we do receive a late submission prior to the report being finalized, we do include it with the report, and we just note that it was submitted past the submission date.
So for clarification, what happens here tonight, it'll go back to the planning board as a report, and then the recommendation will be made to council in the thereafter meeting. So there's a process in place. Okay, I've already gone through call to order, declaration of conflict of interest, and now I call Laurel Palmer to make the first presentation. Laurel.
Good evening, Your Worship, members of council, ladies and gentlemen of the public. This is a request to rezone PID number 192245, the former Andrew Homestead on Oakland Drive. The property is currently zoned R1L, single detached residential, and has land area totaling approximately 9.29 acres. The request is to rezone from single detached residential R1L to institutional, and to amend Appendix A, the official plan map for PID number 192245 from low-density residential to institutional. And this is the subject property outlined in red. So the purpose of the request, Holland College has asked for the property to be rezoned to institutional to enable them to utilize the property for educational programs. The college intends to use the site for in the short term for college programming, office space, labs, and accommodations for guests of the college. The long-term use will be for a dedicated space for the Center of Excellence for Watershed Management. So the subject property is in a mature residential neighborhood on the south side of St. Peter's Highway. Here's the highway right here. In East Royalty, the surrounding neighborhood consists of low-density single and semi-detached dwellings. The property is bounded to the north by low-density residential housing consisting of R2 zoning and Oakland Drive. To the east by low-density housing, R1L zone land and Oakland Drive, and to the south by Wrights Creek, and to the west by passive recreation land and Westcombe Crescent. The property is the former Andrews Homestead, and it's a designated heritage resource under the city's heritage bylaw. It's located on Wrights Creek, which is a major estuary and is rich in flora and fauna. It's home to many native wildlife species. The property also contains Andrews Pond and a stand of old-growth Acadian forest. There are passive recreational trails around the pond, many of which were granted to the city by the Andrew family, and therefore the property is well positioned for its intended use as a center for excellence in watershed management. So the reason we're here tonight, 3.10.3 of the bylaw, before amending the regulations of the bylaw or rezoning any parcel of land, council shall conduct a public meeting to receive the views and opinions of the public and the applicant. And council may, for reasons that are in the best interest of the city, reject a proposed amendment to this bylaw without public notice and without referral to a public meeting. In this instance, the planning board recommended to proceed to public consultation, and council passed a resolution to do so as well. So in accordance with 3.10, amendments to the bylaw and rezonings of the zoning and development bylaw, on January 14th, 2026, notice to the public meeting was circulated to 64 surrounding property owners within 100 meters, 328.1 feet of the subject property to advise them of the public meeting and to request comments on the proposed rezoning application. We did not receive any written responses prior to the public meeting in response to our letter. So I have included some policies in the official plan which support meeting educational needs. And one is, our objective is to establish regular dialogue with representatives of the business community, the provincial government, the University of Prince Edward Island, Holland College, the Eastern School District, and privately operated educational facilities in order to keep abreast of their needs and to seek mutually beneficial resolution of issues. Our policy shall be to meet with representatives of the province and the city's educational institutions on a regular basis to address and seek mutual resolution to any outstanding issues. Our objective is to work with representatives of Charlottetown's educational institutions to ensure that their present and future physical space and land use requirements are factored into the city's planning processes. And our policy shall be to encourage representatives of the city's educational institutions to advise the planning board of their physical space, land use requirements, and where warranted to ensure that the municipality's planning tools take account of these needs. Our policy shall be to designate sufficient additional land on the future land use map to meet the anticipated needs of the city's public educational institutions over a 10-year planning horizon. And that concludes my presentation, and I will turn it over to representatives from Holland College that are here this evening.
Lornie, John, do you wish to address, go on the public record? If you do, Lornie, John, can you just use that table over there?
Melissa, would you mind putting, okay, thank you.
Yeah, you can just stay right where you are. Just come over here. And if you're going to speak, Lornie, there's a speaker's button there, just click it on. Yep, you got it.
Okay,
Just introduce yourself.
good evening. My name is Lorne Hughes. Vice President of Holland College, standing in for Sandy McDonald, who's out of the province today. Just a couple of notes to give you a little bit of a background. This land was gifted to the college with a number of strict covenants in regards to what the college can do, and one of those is that the college can't sell this land. If the college wants to divest this land at some point, it has to go back to the provincial government. What we're here for today is that we've done significant construction in the homestead. We've created 8 offices in there. And the next part is to create our classroom space, which is in the garage. And we can't make that move until it's rezoned. The idea of a watershed as a center of excellence is our students who are at the Prince of Wales campus right now, environmental applied science, wildlife conservation, can come to this property and use it as a living lab. So that's where our next point is. And and there's been directives from the president, the board of governors, and the donors that we're very limited in what we can do, and we don't want to impede any access to the facility right now for the public. And we're really excited to get the idea of getting students to use this facility.
John, no words?
Have to press it? No, that's good. I think we had a presentation, but I believe Laurel covered most of it already, so.
Did you use his presentation, Laurel?
No.
Okay, Councillor Twill? Councillor Beck?
Want to take this opportunity to congratulate Holland College, President Sandy McDonald, Lorne, the other gentlemen that are here. I think this is an excellent proposal. I think it's going to pay off huge dividends for the students at Holland College. What a great learning environment that this is going to be for all students and for the community. I don't think we've said enough good things about John Andrews and his wife and the contribution, not just, land, the home, but everything that he's done over the past number of years. He really was an amazing, remarkable man, him and his wife. And I don't know, I think we need to do a lot more to recognize his contributions to this community and to the city at large. This is a great moment for Holland College and for the students, for the faculty, and of course the president. So please tell the president that I'm strongly in favor.
Councillor Beck, and then Councillor Bernard.
Yeah. Just a question. So, Laurel, can that picture be brought up of the original homestead? I just want to go back to what Lorne was talking about with how the property's kind of being reconfigured a little bit, and the garage and office space inside. And it kind of ties into what you were saying at the start, Laurel, about accommodations. And I'm just kind of wondering, the building is designated there. That's good right there. So the building is a historic site, so it will remain as is. What will look different, Lorne? I know you're talking about the garage. Is that in the barn in behind there to the left? Is that the garage?
No.
Or where am I? I'm just trying to understand that a little bit.
You're looking at the back of the house there.
Just, John, can you just introduce yourself, please? I think.
Yep, John Barrett, Director of Facilities at Holland College. If you pull up the slide deck we have, there's a picture of the garage that we plan to alter in the near future once we have
Do you have
zoning
that, Laurel?
approval.
Melissa, can you find it?
So it's
Melissa
a
does,
small
Your Worship.
detached garage that we're looking to do some renovations to in the short term, basically making it so students can go in there, drop their bags off, open the garage door, then go out on the land and do what they need, have a small bathroom in there for their use.
Okay. And the accommodations piece, it was mentioned about accommodating guests. Where would that go? What would that look like?
So it was John Andrews' desire that there'd be a couple bedrooms left intact within the house, that if there's guest lecturers for the college, or even his family wanted to come back for 2 weeks a year, I think they have rights to use the property or that house for a couple weeks of the year. So, yeah, the garage is in the middle, so we're
Okay.
upgrading that.
Great, thank you.
Okay. Councillor Bernard.
Thank you. First of all, I should probably let everybody know here that John's brother, Roger Andrews, and his wife are here tonight in attendance.
Oh, good. Good to meet you guys.
Thank you for coming. And what Councilor Twill said is true. This is the largest donation that has been made to Holland College's history, this donation. So, again, thank you to the Andrews family. The question I have for Lauren is, in the notes here, it just says, the college intends to use the site in the short term for college programming, office space, labs, accommodations for guests at the college. So there's no provisions in here, there's no buildings or anything going up for students. Correct?
No, actually, as part of the land agreement
Right.
from the Andrews, we are not allowed to put long-term student housing on that
Right.
property.
Yeah, okay. Okay, and what are you looking at for the timeline as far as just getting this up and operational?
Students have been out there now, using the space as is. We're hoping to renovate that garage. Once the zoning is approved, we'll get a permit in to do some work to the garage itself.
Okay, okay.
Officially, we were hoping to do it this fiscal, but it may be early next fiscal now.
And I think in the agreement that the property was to be also open for the public?
Correct. I think if you go to one of the last slides,
Yeah,
we'll
okay.
the trails will be maintained, and
Yeah.
we'll make sure that it's accessible to the public.
Yeah, okay. And I know it's not part of this application, I guess it's if you can't answer tonight, that's fine. There was a lot of talk about the electrification of the spillway, is that still a plan?
There was a group reaching out to us, Aslan, I believe, who wants to do some work there. So we are looking at that possibility, but that's still a little ways out before we see if that's practical or not.
Okay.
So we're trying to see if they were proposing another site on PEI that they're carrying out, and if that's successful, then we might follow suit.
Okay, thank you. Thank you.
Councillor Bernard, you've been working on this area since you got elected.
Yep.
Andrews Pond, Wrights Creek, worked with John Andrews.
Yep.
And his wife's name, I can't remember it. Christine.
And Wally.
And there is
Father.
there is an environmental group that's Andrews Pond.
Yep.
Andrews Pond what?
Andrews Pond, Heritage, not Heritage, Environmental.
Environmental Committee, yeah.
Darren Riggs sits on it.
Yes,
Another brother.
like, to look at the land and everything that's been going on, very appreciative that John and his wife donated this to Holland College. I know we were part of that transaction. Mr. and Mrs. Andrews, do you want to go on the record to say anything? Just come right up here and just introduce yourself. And if your wife wants to say a few words, it's always good to get something on the public record from the Andrews family.
Roger?
Andrew, oh yes, I don't want to say Andrews. John Andrew.
Yes, we don't, my father used to say that he fought that S for all his life, and when he was close to his deathbed, he died at 94, he was saying, I'm pass that over to you. So,
Well, I'll correct myself, Mr. Andrew. Just introduce yourself.
We're used to that. My name is Roger Andrew, and
And I'm Lenore.
Lenore?
My wife Lenore. And, yeah, John was 3 years my senior. And anyway, there were 4 children in the family, my 2 sisters and John and I. And we lost one sister this summer, Kathy, and to a surgical complication. And then John 3 years ago. So it was my father's wish and my mother's too, but particularly my father, who grew up there. He was born in 1913. He was born in the house. And his father, John B. Andrew, John Bell, he bought the place at auction in 1898. And he was born there too because his father came out from Scotland and he was a miller there. So it's been in our family as an owned property since 1898, and before that, my great-granddad lived out his working life there. So,
Francis's son,
This is your relative donated this.
Bundy's half-brother.
oh, okay.
Yes,
There?
the
Yeah.
other man.
Oh, yes,
Adam
oh, yes,
Andrew.
sorry,
Okay.
you're looking at the painting. Yes,
Wow.
yes, that was my grandfather's half-brother's
Yeah.
donation. Anyway, so it was my father's wish for many years and hope that this property, the ponds and the land around, associated with the ponds and below the dam, would somehow or another go to the public. He wanted that to happen. He did work towards that as he could. He became an old man, as he said, and so as he was getting into he was 89, I believe, when John assumed ownership of the property, and so with that he couldn't stick handle the deal any longer or whatever, and he passed that job over to John, and John certainly did a commendable job of that over the 20 years of that he and Christine owned the property. So, and I know, speaking on behalf of any of the Andrew family, any and all, we're very pleased to see Holland College take ownership and see that the trails and the pond, the two ponds really, one above the road and the other below, and the marshland, that it's all going to be enjoyed by the public. That's wonderful. We're very happy with that, and wish Holland College well with that. Having said that, I do have a question, and I know it was mentioned there were covenants attached to the property, and I don't know if I just wondering if there's any official restrictive covenants on the ownership, on the deed of ownership, or whether it's just sort of a verbal thing. And also wondering what those, some of those restrictive, if there are any, what they might be, whether they restrict the size. I understand they restrict the use of the house to what's being proposed, and I know there's an older barn there. I'm not sure what the future use might be for that. But the question I have is in the future, if there are other buildings built, are there any restrictive covenants about how large or tall or that sort of thing they might be? And and if, for instance, the roadway, the driveway that goes in, whether that is set in stone, whether down the road that might be changed and to allow for different things. I mean, I just don't know if there's restrictions on Holland College or not on how they will proceed in the future. Thank you
John?
very much.
Do you guys have any information, or do we have?
Oh, yeah. Lenore's pointing out to me that we were married there on the front lawn, 53, it was just about 54 years ago. And, and we have we were the first people to get married on that lawn.
Well,
down by the pond, yeah.
just, can we get that answered, Lorne? Are there any covenants, restrictions? You just sit next to Roger and you can share the mic. Just need it on the public record.
Thank you. Yeah, there's 4 different directives, President's Directive, Board of Governors Directive, Donor's Wishes, and an overall MOU. And we can share these. We do work with Melissa, and we can share these to what the directives are. There's a number of them in there.
Thank you.
Good. Councilor Bernard?
Can the city get a copy of that also for our records?
I think so, yeah.
Okay, thank
I don't see
you.
any issue there.
Thank you.
Well, Roger, Lenora, this is a good news story, and it's not only good news for the city, but good news for the Andrew family. Roger, did the Wright family own that property before the Andrew? Was it not an apple orchard? Just,
Do you want to speak to that?
I'm the historian.
Lenore's
Yeah, so
more
there
into
was
the
history done on it.
But yes, there was
that's where Wrights Creek.
Yeah,
Wright-
that's where the name
Wright
Wrights, and
Creek's
before that, there were Cambridge family and then a marriage, and the Wright name got, the Wright, starting with a W, name got attached through a marriage.
And then it was Belmont Lodge.
Yes, and then, certainly, there's been a lot of things happen on that property. When my grandfather took over the mill, there was a carding mill, a grist mill, flour mill, all that sort of stuff. There was a sawmill as well there. It was a very going concern. There had been orchards, yes. There was an early brewery there way back. I think one of the first on the island, possibly. Then there was fires. There was the barn built. The original mills burnt down. The cow barn burnt down, and was rebuilt. There's a lot of stuff. There was an ice. That pond was cut for ice for one of the major suppliers of ice for the city of Charlottetown. There were horse teams there, even in my youth. When I'm 76 now, coming 77 pretty soon. But when I was a young fellow, we used to cut ice, and there were horses hauling ice even then. When I was 5 or 6 years old, still teams coming and hauling ice to Charlottetown for storage and then delivery. And then as that faded out as electrification got going and people in Charlottetown didn't need ice boxes anymore, that business sort of fizzled out. And that was when I was a early young teenager, that fizzled, and but then there was a need expressed by the tourists coming. You couldn't buy ice in a service station or anything, so and you could get chip ice, which didn't last very long. So there was a demand for block ice, and so my father resurrected his ice equipment that had been used before. They had a Model T and a Model A combo engine and transmission and so forth. It drove a wheel that you'd normally see at a sawmill. It drove that, and you could regulate the depth and all that. And so we used to cut ice. And when I was a child and a teenager, up until I was maybe 16, we sold ice to the public. We had signs up, block ice for sale. Tourists would come, and we sold it to fishermen. We sold it to J&T Morris and some of the pop companies and things. They were having church picnics, and they wanted ice for their pop, and it was a going concern. But that fizzled out then as well. I guess I was the child who did most of the ice business sale, and my mom, we used to take an old truck we had, go out to the North Shore, to the campgrounds. But anyway, by the time I got off to be 17 or so, there was other places starting to sell ice that was so available in service stations, etc. And we were all done of that. But it's part of the history, yeah.
Good. Councilor Bernard, you want to wrap it up there?
Yeah, I was just going to say, it's interesting, Roger brought that up, because
Did you have someone that sold ice?
the Model
Sold
T and the Model A that they used to cut the ice is still in the barn. So it's quite the history to see.
Yes, and I know there's a number of sort of antique historical items around there that I believe Holland College are going to see that they're on display.
And you're good partners, because just looking here, Ellens Creek Watershed Group, the Wrights Creek Environmental Committee, all work with our good partners there at Holland College. So contract's already in place, boys. Thank you very much. Thank you. Thank you. So if you wish to stay for the rest of the show, you're more than welcome. I'm now going to turn to number 6, and Councillor Duran, you're in conflict.
Sure. I'll take a leave now. See you later.
Thank you, sir. So, do you want me to keep going with it? Okay, second one will be presented by Laurel Palmer, and Will Safaris will be here to answer questions. Okay?
Request to proceed to public consultation to rezone a portion of Phase 2 of Hidden Valley subdivision at the south end of Stan Mall Drive, a portion of PID number 1047562. The proposal is to rezone the subject lands from R2S, low-density residential single, to R3, medium-density residential zone, and to amend Appendix A, the official plan, future land use map, from low-density residential to medium-density residential. And the subject parcel is outlined in red. So the request to rezone it's a request to rezone approximately 1.08 acres of land located at the southern end of Stan Mall Drive. The proposal is to rezone the property to R3 medium density residential zone and extend Stan Mall Drive and further subdivide the property into 3 lots to accommodate 2 stacked townhouse buildings consisting of 12 units in each building. So Stan Mall will be extended to the property boundary, and the proposed lots are here. And this is a remaining portion that would be used for lower density housing. Stan Mall Drive is proposed to be extended to the southernmost property boundary, as I said, showing here. And the dwellings will be constructed on the east and west sides, lots 29 and 32, shown on this preliminary survey plan. So this is lot 29. And lot 32 is over here. The property is bounded to the north by Brooklyn Avenue and new low-density residential housing consisting of R2S zoning. To the west, or to the east by a watercourse that separates this area from land that has been zoned apartment residential R4 for higher density development. To the south with vacant land zoned R2S, and to the west with land zoned R1L with low-density single detached housing. So Hidden Valley subdivision, it's located off Malpeck Road in the neighborhood of Winslow. The immediate area consists of low-density residential development with land that was zoned to accommodate higher density apartment dwellings immediately to the east. There is also some higher density and commercial development further north along Malpeck Road. Low-density residential development in the immediate area consists predominantly of mature neighborhoods containing R1L single detached residential and R2S low-density residential single-zone properties. And there are shopping centers and services that are located within a kilometer to the south of the subdivision along Malpeck Road. So we are here tonight because of the resolution that was passed at council. And before amending the regulations in this bylaw rezoning any parcel of land, council shall conduct a public meeting to receive the views and opinions of the public and the applicant, and council may, for reasons that are in the best interest of the city, reject the proposed amendment to this bylaw without public notice and without referral to a public meeting. So, in accordance with Section 310, amendments to the bylaw and rezonings of the zoning and development bylaw on January 14th, 2026, notice of the public meeting was circulated to 27 surrounding property owners within 100 meters of the subject property to advise them of the public meeting and to request comments on the proposed rezoning application. We did receive 2 written responses prior to the public meeting. The letters were in opposition, and they have been passed out to council this evening. So I have listed some policies in the official plan that supports housing. One is our goal is to work with public and private sector partners to create an attractive physical environment and positive investment climate in which the housing requirements of all residents can be met, including those with special needs, and to provide clear direction to where residential development should take place. Housing needs and variety. Our objective is to encourage development in fully serviced areas of the city to promote settlement and neighborhood policies as mechanisms for directing the location of new housing and to encourage new residential development near centers of employment. Our policy shall be to ensure that all new multiple dwellings unit buildings are serviced by water and wastewater systems which have the capacity to accept the development proposed. And our policy shall be to base residential densities on the availability of municipal services, education facilities, recreation and open space amenities, transportation routes, and such other factors as the city may need to consider. Our policy shall be to provide medium-density housing styles to meet future housing needs, and our policy shall be to direct urban growth to land that is a logical extension of an existing urban area or neighborhood and will be serviced by municipal water and wastewater systems. This is a proposed rendering that was submitted by the applicant of the building. And just another closer look at the site plan, so you can see. This is where the two proposed buildings are to be located. We do have low-density residential on this side. They're proposing a buffer around the properties. And that pretty much concludes my presentation. The applicant is here, Will Safaris, to answer any questions that council may have. So I will turn it over to Will.
Will, do you wish to make any comments? Or do you want to wait? Okay. Laurel, as always, very comprehensive report. Thank you very much. Councillor McKinnon, you have a question to Laurel? Or?
Laurel.
Okay, go ahead, sir.
One of your slides, Laurel, I think might be an error, but you said it's access off of Malpeck Road. You cannot access Hidden Valley off Malpeck Road. You have to come through Hidden Valley subdivision to Lower Malpeck Road.
Yes, your worship. I think I'm getting it confused with the higher density that we rezoned on the other side of this. So yes, you are correct.
Okay. Do you wish to follow up there, Councillor McKinnon?
You can kind of see the.
My only comment
The
to
higher
that be if
density.
she's confused within phase 3 and this, is all the facts here correct? Has everything else correct?
Yes, your worship, it is. What I'm suggesting is this piece here, it's part of Hidden Valley as well. So this is phase 1 and 2, but this is phase 3 of Hidden Valley. So this part can be accessed off Malpeck Road.
Can be or is now.
I believe it is still. Well, do you want to clarify that?
You wanna
Because
come up here,
we did have
Will?
an original access off.
Just take that mic over there, Will, please. Just introduce yourself, Will, please, and your position. Your role. Yep, you're on.
Will Safaris,
And you're with?
Falcon Properties.
Okay. So the question from Councillor McKinnon, is there access to the west or to the east to access or to get on Malpeck Road? From that, from that drawn there, that's up there now. Excuse me.
Yes, that section of the property goes to Malpeck Road. That, you're talking about our phase 3 that has the apartments.
PID number is 104 7562 14. Yeah.
Yes, yeah, that is the high density. That's completely separate from this.
Okay, where is it accessed? Where is the, to Malpeck Road? That's Lower Malpeck Road on the,
Yes, your worship. This is Lower Malpeck Road on this side.
correct?
So this is phase 1 and 2, and then this is all Hidden Valley subdivision. So Malpeck Road is along here, but there is an access from this phase into this part. This part is currently accessed through here, and then it will have a future connector to the south. So in the report, when I'm talking about an access from Malpeck Road, I'm talking about the whole subdivision of Hidden Valley.
Right. So PID number 1047562 is future development, and that you're saying that the roadway can go through the higher density, that's 104,
Right now, this doesn't connect to this
no, I
piece
know it
because
doesn't.
we have the watershed. But the whole subdivision, there's access to this part of the subdivision from Malpeck Road, and there's access to this part of the subdivision from Lower Malpeck. If that makes sense.
Yep, Councillor McKinnon?
Laurel just made another comment there, but a future road access point to the south. Can you please elaborate on that? What the
So-
plan is for that and when that's gonna happen?
So here we're showing the cul-de-sac.
Yeah.
So we always require a road to be brought to the property boundary. So when this gets developed, we would require a connector to the subdivision. So there's interconnectivity between properties. You don't want roads to just dead end, and that's for fire code reasons as well.
Any comments from residents? Just come up here to the mic if you wish. Just give your name and just where you live, like Malpeck Road, Lower Malpeck Road, Sherwood Road.
My name is Aletha Smith, and I live on the Lower Malpeck Road. So this green buffer that you're talking about, what is that?
That would be, we would require a tree buffer, sorry. We would require a tree buffer in that area.
And how far back do the buildings go to the property line?
I would have to have the developer answer that where you place it on the site plan, but generally, we would require what the setback is in the bylaw, but this looks like it's in excess of what the bylaw requires.
Just as you can't read that page that was passed out to us, like whatever is written on that, I don't think anybody could read that.
Yeah, it would be difficult to read with photocopying in the mail out.
This one that's in front of us?
Yes.
Yeah.
And I'd like it to have, I'd like it to be on record that when we talked, you said that it would be a maximum of 8 units, not 12. So that if it does get approved, that it is approved for 8, not 12.
Yeah, basically, the ask was to consolidate the lots and stack the units. That would make it 8. The architect drew it as 12. It fit on the lot as 12, but we're not concerned if it goes to 8. And that was our conversation.
Any questions to clarify? And, ma'am, are you, did you? No, okay, good, thank you. Go right ahead. Just make sure you get the mic to you.
Yeah. I just also want to mention that, it's all low-density residential in the development now and all around it. So, I think that there is probably, before I spoke to Will, is it? Will, that it would be better to have it on the other side of the stream because that is already zoned for higher density residents. But I guess they don't own that, so that's not valid anymore.
Will, do you want to sit beside her there and answer some of the questions she's asking there? Just to clarify.
We were the developers across the stream, but those lots have been primarily sold for developers.
And when rezonings are considered in isolation, it becomes difficult for residents to understand the full impact of what's going to happen. And most of us would like to know, what is the plan for the field? Is the road going to extend into that field? Is it going to be coming out on the Sherwood Road? Is it going to be coming out on the Lower Malpeck Road? I know it's not decided yet, but I believe there's probably a plan, out there somewhere that would give us a little bit of comfort about what is going to happen.
That's not our property, so I can't
Yeah,
answer.
Laurel? Just a sec.
So the property here, 145177, we don't know at this point in time what the development is going to be on that property. It's currently zoned R2S. Whoever owns the property could apply to rezone it.
But right now, it's
We won't.
R2S and there's no plans, there's no permit or plans or anything.
We haven't received an application on that property to date.
So what is R2S?
So that's low-density residential.
So if there is an application to increase that from single-family or duplexes, then how do we hear about that? Just from the little thing in the newspaper again?
Yes, your worship. So if we receive an application to rezone that property, it would go through the same process as what's before us tonight. So we would send notification to the residents and hold a public meeting as well, as long as council approved the request to proceed to public consultation. One thing I was going to bring up on your comment earlier, so this, you will see that right now this is terminating in what we would call this a temporary cul-de-sac, and that's for fire turning radius. So if there was like an emergency, fire trucks could get in, ambulances, snow plows, they could turn. With the original subdivision and what we do with any subdivision when it's being developed is if it terminates at a property boundary like this, you have to have a temporary cul-de-sac. So then this property owner would join to this road, so it would be one full public road. At this point in time, we don't know when this property to the south will be developed until we receive an application. And at that time, we would deal with whatever the developer is proposing in their application. And if it did involve a rezoning, it would go through this process.
I guess,
Do you have any more?
That's
You
it for me.
sure? You're good with questions?
yeah, well, I think so, because I was talking to Will earlier, and it's not going to be 12, and it's not going to be, quite as big as I thought it was going to be, but I think still the traffic is going to be detrimental to the area, because, even with 8, you're talking probably 16 cars for each one. And that's why when things are just done piecemeal like that, it's hard for people to make decisions or know what's going on when, that field could be a road out to the Lower Malpeque Road. It could be a road out to the Sherwood Road. It could be no road at all, but we don't know that. It could be, I think that things should be a little bit more open, because I'm sure that there is sort of a plan out there somewhere where, people have a pretty good idea of what's going to happen. So,
The only thing I'd say in that is if you zoomed out on that picture, I think that adjacent parcel is actually part of a bigger section of property owned by one person that has CDA land, like a pretty big substantial property.
Where is that, Will? Which one is that? Is that the 1.104?
Go back.
This one?
So 145,177 beside that is owned by the same person. I believe it's CDA, but that part of it's CDA.
Below
So it
here
would be
is
a-
CDA.
Expectation is probably a fairly large subdivision.
Yeah, it's CDA, that's right, okay.
One other question for you, Will, is, so that green area that she had up there a while ago, are you guys planning to put a hedge or something there, or what is your plan?
The sections that aren't trees now, we put a tree buffer in.
So just,
So just the hedgerow that's there now, or is it?
No, we would add a tree buffer into the rest of, like the rest of the border of the property. And that could be in a development agreement or however that gets worked.
Yes, same as the 8 units, they could be in a development agreement too. Laurel? And then Councillor Beck.
yes, your worship. So I'm looking at the plan and just this green buffer, this measurement, from the property boundary here to this dotted line, just here, it's hard to point to it, that's showing 7 meters for a setback. It's showing a little over 7 meters. So that's what, 20, that's
21
25
Green,
feet,
that's for
25,
that green
28
line,
feet?
or is that for up to the actual building?
No, that's just that green, so that
That's
it
just the green.
encloses the green buffer area, and then there's this. So, if I'm reading this correctly, this is the building, and then this line would show the building envelope, so this would be like the typical setback, plus this buffer.
So what is the typical setback?
That would be approximately 24.6 feet for a rear yard.
Oh, it is. It's 24, is it? Okay.
That's generally what's asked for an R3 property, but I'm looking at this like the building envelope, but what's a bit confusing is this is 7 meters, so that's over 20. That's over 20 feet, and if you were to scale this back, you're probably looking at about 24, 25 feet here. So we would just have to get those measurements clarified on a site plan, Will.
So I just, in conclusion, I guess, say that I would much prefer it to be residential. But it's better than I thought it was going to be.
Okay. Councillor Beck?
Better
could
because
just-
it's 8 units instead of 12.
Yes.
So that would be, so looking at that rendering we're looking at there right now, there'd be 4 units on the west side and 4 units on the east side. No?
Will, just use the mic, please. Just, again, we have to get this in the public record.
It would be an 8 unit on each side of the road.
So okay, can you go back to the rendering just for a minute then, Will, that you submitted?
I believe the rendering's actually a picture of a 10 unit. I think it was just a design.
Okay, so, take that building, how many doors do we have going into, what would that look like, Will?
If it was an 8 unit, you would take one of the stacks off. So essentially,
Okay, so take the one off on the right, and you've got, so then you would have, one unit that would look like that, with that, those last 2 doors off, and then one other unit, is that what you're saying? Or no?
There'd be 2 buildings.
2 on each side, 2 on the east, 2 on the west.
no, one of each.
One of each. Okay, thank you. Okay, so it would end up looking, okay, all right. One other thing on the Stanmore Drive, how far south, I guess, we don't know what's there, so we don't know how far south that road could potentially go. Like, it could eventually hook up to Sherwood Road? Okay. All right. Okay. Aletha, in your letter, you were referencing the large parcel beside your property.
And
which-
that is the parcel that I'm talking about and that you just mentioned.
Okay.
But the road will go through that, but we don't know whether it's going to go through that to the Sherwood Road or if it's going to go through that to Thorndale.
Yeah.
So originally, to me, the land was supposed to be green space, and then it was changed to duplexes. So if the zoning was not approved, there would be 4 houses on those 2 lots, like 2 duplexes, so four families. And if it is approved, then there'll be 8. So it's basically doubling what is currently approved on one side of the road and then on the other side as well.
Yeah.
So to me, it was going to be, probably minimum of 24 cars for each on one side and 24 on the other. So you'd have 48 more cars in that small subdivision trying to get out onto either the Lower Malpeque Road or, I'm not sure what the name of the street is on the other one. The other exit. Okay. So, but at least it's not 12. But I think that most of the area being low-density residential should probably stay low-density residential. But if that field beside us is going to be all changed, and that's where precedent is set by what you guys decide today, because if you guys say that it's approved, then the field beside will probably all be higher density residential than what is currently there.
Councillor Peck, do you want to follow up?
No, it's good.
Okay. Deputy? Deputy Mayor, any comments? Okay.
Sorry, I was just trying to get back to my screen. No, I don't have any comments right now, but thank you for asking.
Right. Councillor Twill. Oh, sorry, Councillor McKinnon was first. Councillor McKinnon, and then Councillor Twill. Sorry about that, sir.
Before I ask my questions, is there more members of the public that want to talk first?
Look,
'Cause I
it's
can
wide
finish up.
open. I just,
Okay. Okay, I'll
Okay.
wait. I'll wait.
do you want to wait? You want to defer to Roger? Roger, just come right up, just give us your name, Roger. I need it for the public record, Roger. We know you. Okay,
You know, Councillor McKinnon, we used to live in a real nice little subdivision, quiet.
Yeah,
Hidden
Roger,
Valley,
Can you give your name and just where you live?
I'm Roger Sharon, I live in 122 Longview Drive,
Thank you, sir. Go ahead.
okay?
Thank you.
When Hidden Valley went in there was no other roads except to come through Highfield Heights subdivision. And lad, I know because I live right on the main one that the traffic's traveling. Now, Councillor McKinnon, you didn't ask this yet. Where is the traffic going to go for these new buildings? Laura, you said that traffic was going to go into Hidden Heights subdivision, but I think you know where the traffic comes from Hidden Heights subdivision, where they cut through. That is Highfield Heights subdivision. So we got to eat the curse for this new development, Highfield Heights? Because as now, there's no cars going into the field that Ms. Smith was talking about to the Sherwood Road or to the Lower Malpeque Road. So we got to look at the trucks again, barreling down. And now, yes, there's quite a few houses. I'm not against development. I'm against all the traffic that you fellows blessed with us, accepting this project. We got kids in that subdivision, and the people in Hidden Valley on Longview Drive, Formula 40, here we come. As I said to Miss Smith, I don't care anymore because they go like hell on Longview Drive. I'll back out in front of them to slow them down. Councillor McKinnon, do you agree? Thank you. Developer can tell us where he's sending the traffic.
Will, do you want to take that on, or do? Go ahead.
I don't want to speak for him, but it sounds like a lot of the concerns is our existing properties and the future development. The incremental increase in these units from what's already there as of right is only a few doors, a few cars.
Councillor McKinnon, do you want to follow up?
A few things here. Was there a traffic study done with putting this, I'll ask you 3 or 4 questions here, Will, you can ask them. So was there a traffic study done? Rumors are that there was a traffic study done in the middle of the afternoon for 2 hours, which would not be a true representation of what the traffic trying to come in and out of Hidden Valley represents. If you do get the rezoning here, I guess this one's kind of for Laurel, there's no stipulation saying that you have to stop at 8. You can go back to the 12. You can build whatever you want. We're still waiting for the green space in Hidden Valley, 1 and 2, and you're about 95% complete off that as well. So if you can answer some of them.
Yes, there's a traffic study. I believe it was shared at the time of the development. We can share it. I don't have the specifics around like time of day. We left that to the engineers who performed it. The green space, I think that's a question for parks. We've already turned that land over years ago. I don't know if someone can speak for.
Yes, that land was turned over to the city. Parks and Recreation haven't developed it yet, to my knowledge, but they do have the land.
So with your...
Just to answer one other question about the 8 or 12, like, I believe Laurel can have a development agreement that limits, and then our 3 property can be restricted to a development agreement?
Generally with a rezoning, it's as of right. We have done development agreements before with rezonings, but our Planning Act doesn't limit contract zoning, which is what that would be, but we have done it. But it is, when you rezone something, it generally is as of right for the density that's allowable on the land.
I would note that I believe with 12, there's multiple variances, so they would have to go back here for approval. Is that right?
So I would have to do the calculations based on the lot area. If a variance was required, that would have to come through planning board again. And we would have to also send notification to the public, but we could check that.
It's identified by the architect that I believe there's parking and front lawn variances at 12. So I don't know if it's just simply will be as is right. I think we would still have to come back if we ever tried to go against our word. And the one other question about the traffic study, no, it did not include this. Obviously, this changed now, but I would note that our phase 2 was actually decreased in density. We went from duplex to single family.
There's still over, like what,
There's about
98
100
or 102 or something units in there?
I believe
So-
phase 1 was around 96 R2 lots. Some of those were built as single families, and then phase 2 was about 50 single family.
Yeah, and at least 2 cars per house coming through a small subdivision to get safely with streets with no sidewalks. You said you had, at time of development, you did a traffic study, so can it be requested that we get another traffic study before this goes through for rezoning? So that the public, we can know that actually this is a good idea or a safe idea to put forward?
I don't know if that's for me to decide, but I don't know if an engineer would look at it and redo a report for like 8 to 10 additional doors. Well,
What's that? 8 and 8, correct?
additional doors, there's already, as of right, 5 duplexes, 10 doors. So 6 additional doors.
Laurel?
Yes, Your Worship. Public Works Department would determine if a traffic study was required, and this was sent to the Public Works Department, and they did not indicate that they would want a traffic study. I believe the traffic study that was done, it would have encompassed, their calculations would have taken into account density past what they were proposing on the plan, because it would have taken into account growth, future growth in the area.
Okay. Councillor Kevin Ramsey from Ward 5.
Thank you, Your Worship. Are these going to be all rentals, or are they going to be individually owned, or both?
Our plan would be a rental. They wouldn't be designed to sell as condos, so they would be one building.
Any more questions from the residents? Roger, Mrs. Smith? Mic's open. Okay, any more questions from council? Will, I'm just looking at the map here of Hidden Valley. When Stanmore Drive passes Judy Avenue going north, there is I think it was the old mall house that was there. It is a road there, there's a roadway.
You can cut through. I don't think it's a legally designed road at the moment.
No, I know. But is that in the plans to design that as a roadway? Because that takes you into that proposed roundabout, I believe, that will cut into the property on the other side of Malpeck Road.
It's not in any official plans that I'm aware of.
Okay. Good. We're all good to go? Okay. Thank you. Thank you to the residents for coming out tonight. Thank you, Mrs. Severas. Lenore, Laurel, thank you. And David, and also Mr. Russ. Could, Mrs. Smith, can you just come up, I just want to keep it on the public record. So if you want to go to it afterwards on live stream, you can.
Sorry, just wondering when a decision is made and how we find out what the decision is.
Okay. Do you want to explain that, Councilor McCabe, or you can do it with?
So this is going to
Laura?
back through the planning board. The report will come back to our planning board. Planning board will make a recommendation to council. I would say would that be at our next planning board committee meeting? And then from there, it will go to the next probably regular meeting of council. I'm going to let staff say how long it will take them to do the reports or something, but that's back through our planning board. And then the recommendation will come to council. So Laurel, will that be at our next, do you think it'll be at our next regular meeting, or do you think that'll be in March?
I'm anticipating it to come to this next meeting. Hopefully, if it's not too crazy busy, but I'm aiming for this one. If not, it will be the next month.
And Councilor McCabe, that planning board meeting is open to the public, but it's up to the chair to say yay or, yeah, go ahead, sorry.
No, it's open to the public similar to this, and it's also on YouTube where you can watch it as well, so.
Okay.
And if
Go ahead there, Mrs. Smith.
the road that you were talking about that goes out onto the Malpeck Road, I'm wondering why, when Hidden Valley was set up, why that was denied. There were many sort of things in the newspaper and on the radio and everything where they said that access for that part of Hidden Valley was denied to the Malpeck Road, rather wanting them to go to the lower Malpeck.
Yeah. So, just before Will, that's a provincial road, Malpeck Road. So it was with the province that had to make the call on the access. Will, go ahead.
I was just going to answer, I think the concern was the apartment traffic would flow through Highfield if that was connected.
So maybe that can be changed. Maybe that can be an access road now, because it's supposed to be going out to Lights, from what I understand.
Or a roundabout, yeah.
Or a roundabout.
Yeah.
So I mean, just, for future thought, it would probably make an awful lot of people in Highfield and
100%.
much more comfortable, because that's where, traffic density is supposed to be going, is to all of everything that's being done on the Malpeque Road.
Yeah.
And the lower Malpeque Road is getting busier and busier all the time, and it's not Hidden Valley's fault, but since I have people's attention at the moment, I'd like to know what the plan is for the lower Malpeque Road, because anybody who lives on there knows that you can't back out on that road anymore.
No.
It's a highway. And, if they're going to then develop the field next to me and have another, 100, 200, 300 houses exiting either probably on the lower Malpeque Road or maybe the Sherwood Road, but it's getting to be a really busy part of town.
Yeah. And is that District 10, Charlottetown, Winslow? Is it Zach Bell or Gordon McNeely? Okay, yeah.
But
That's, he's the MLA, yeah.
I'm just wondering what the plans are, because, I think from, what I've seen, the city is supposed to have a plan for what is, going to happen in the city.
Mhm.
And, we are now part of that, so we would like to, know what the future plans are. It's a very narrow spot out there. And
Lower Malpeque or?
The lower
Malpeque?
Malpeque,
Yes. Okay.
And the bike lanes come so far and then it ends, and you've got bikes on the street. And then another mile down the road, the bike lane starts again. It's not well designed at the moment.
Okay. Councillor Beck?
Yeah, just on that, we do have our zoning and development bylaw updates forthcoming. So there will be public
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 consultations.
consultation on that as well too. So that's another opportunity to kind of address what you're looking for as we move forward, because we are going to be updating that and over the coming months.
And so that is a meeting like this?
No, it's a little more about, I'm not sure
It deals
where
with
it
the
is.
zoning and
But
development.
you have the opportunity to provide input to it.
So how does a person ever find out about these things?
Oh, no, there will be. Just, go there, sorry.
Sorry, there will be lots of advertisement. I'm assuming that it'll go in the Guardian or on, they use their social media. I know not everybody does, so it'll still be posted in the Guardian.
Correct.
Maybe Mr. McKinnon will put a note in his phone to send out a little reminder to you that it's happening.
Yeah.
But the highway part is not
That's
part
public,
of the zoning and.
that's
I mean,
Public Works.
Right, like that is that province part of the highway, maybe there's some collaboration that'll happen, but that is, even though it's in the city, it's not the city doesn't have the jurisdiction over that road.
Yeah.
It's really confusing, Malpeque Road, right.
Malpeque is provincial, Lower Malpeque is city. So we're doing some plans for, oh yeah, and North River Road, and when you get into University Avenue. But we're looking at different entry points into the city. Definitely, Councillor McKinnon is quite aware of what's going on, so I'm sure that we can forward that on to the Public Works Standing Committee.
Very good, thank you.
Thank you, Mrs. Smith. Thank you, guys, and thank you very much for coming in. Okay. Councilman Turner, any new business? You sure? Clock's ticking. Motion to adjourn.
Okay.
All in favor?
There, that's-
Hey, hey. Take care, Deputy.